Okay, let me make my point very clear. I do not believe philosophically that having a boots on the ground member of the industry talking to the community is a bad thing. In fact, that's an insane take.
Yeah.
I clearly don't think it's bad,
really bad
that the company is willing to talk to us at a human level. I think Mark Rosewater should not be allowed to talk to us at a human level.
Well, while we're cutting this, what are the Australian slander laws? What are those like?
They're
really
they're scary enough.
They're really bad for us, bro.
The moral of the story is Mark. All right, continue.
Hey everyone, welcome back to From the Vault, podcast about gaming store life, hobby, community, set in a game store, from game store people.
Two friends. It's
Two
me
friends.
as well. I'm here.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm back. It's me. I'm Trent.
Trent's
Welcome back.
I'm Dylan, one of the store owners of Vault Games. Trent is the manager here at Brisbane, and behind the scenes, running the tech is Teddy.
And I'm Teddy.
Yep. Anyway,
No, you've got this.
you got this.
Definitely
You'll fix the mic.
believe in myself. Oh, there we go. That's
I wish they could have watched that. Wish they had a
If
video.
only we had Teddy Cam.
You missed the part. I'm
Oh,
going to
it's not
jump in. I'm
necessary.
sorry. We can start again, but you missed the part earlier, which was so hilarious, where I watched Teddy trying their best to just plug a PowerPoint in. They did it wrong like
really
3
difficult.
times. They got an American brain. They didn't know how powers were. And they tried, and I watched them like force it a little bit and look at me and then go, okay, that can't be right. So it was very funny. It was very funny. What are we talking about today, Dylan?
Well, we're going to talk about something that's really got me. We're going to talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I know people are talking about it online a lot. There's quite a large discourse.
I'm not hearing anything about it.
Someone's not online. There is nuance to it. I understand me putting nuanced discussions on the internet is definitely going to go down great.
You're really good at those.
I'm really good at those. But yeah, I want to talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because we're now a week after the pre-releases. By the time I'm recording this, where the sets are visually released. But what is an official release nowadays anyway?
Well, there's no pre-release anymore. It's just launch, basically.
It's just like hobby store launch,
Yeah, it's
WPN
just
launch.
WPN launch.
But a few episodes ago, we were talking about how we were still keen for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. There's some cool cards that we saw, down for it. I'm not so keen on it anymore. I think I finally reached the point where I as a store owner feel like I'm done with Magic and I'm just on neutral coasting.
Yeah, you're like not engaging with it. You're just selling it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had the same kind of perspective, even outside the store with the set, where there's a lot of stuff that I was like excited for, obviously. And it's actually, I kind of touched on this one. There's like a card called like Transdimensional Bovine that I was really excited for because I have a very specific deck that wants to play it. But then I thought about it, and even in my discussion about it, which we'll touch on this a little bit later, was the reason I wanted it is like actually the antithesis to why I enjoy Commander altogether. Like the reason we'll talk about that as we get further into this, but I just want to touch on that now. A lot of the cards in it kind of represent the antithesis of what makes Commander tick for me. And we'll get to that. But yeah, I mean, I kind of had the same point.
So obviously seen on the internet and amongst the community in general, there's a lot of discussion over TMNT being, the next Spider-Man set, next Marvel Spider-Man. I don't agree. I don't agree it's the next Spider-Man. I'm here to tell you that from a business perspective, it's worse. Way worse than Spider-Man. So let's run through why. I want to make sure you guys understand as well. This isn't just another like universes beyond his shit kind of videos. Like I want to talk about.
We're not talking about New York.
We're not talking about New York as a plane. We're not talking about the fact that Universes Beyond has taken over Magic. Like it is what it is.
We're
it's
hopping
happening.
on Dead Horse, etc., etc.
Whatever. People have discussions about it, but I want to talk
and
about it.
they're smarter than us. I want to add, like people who have discussion about it, they're smarter than us. Watch their content.
Yeah. The big thing I want to point to is the video on Tolarian Community College from the professor,
Speaking of.
which you'll see. I'll put a link to it down in the description of this video, which is a very good discussion around the design and draftability of the set, which is quite important. With the sets kind of essentially moving to this standalone block system that they had back in, like we used to have block. let me try again. The block system. Do you remember the era of blocks for Magic?
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
Absolutely. You'd have a major set, and then you'd have like a smaller set attached to it, and then you might have a second smaller set, or you might have a large set again on the back of it.
Well, one of like the most famous sets of all time, like Return to Ravnica, had Gate Crash and had Dragon's Maze.
Yeah.
That was what we called a block. And all those 3 sets were set in the same continuous story, in the same plane, with the same characters.
Yeah, you got Theros, Born of the Gods, and Journey into Nyx.
Correct.
You've got... And then when they moved off the 3-block set to a 2-set block...
Kaladesh and Aether
We got
Revolt.
Kaladesh, Aether Revolt.
Shadows of Innistrad, Eldritch Moon.
Yep. Armenket, Hours of Devastation, Ixalan, Rivals of Ixalan, right? In 2017, they put out an article called Metamorphosis 2.0, where they talked about, some of their learnings from Magic. That's where they changed up the rotation again. That's where they also made the decision to kill blocks entirely, which, I fully understand. We, as a store, have only been like operating as a physical space for 10 years this year. But we kind of been operating in the community of gaming, including Magic, since Khans of Takia. Yeah. So since 2014. So
close to 13 years now.
We were there when there were 3-block sets. And I can tell you from a store owner perspective, I hate small blocks. I hate small sets. I love the single set model for blocks, because when it comes to releases and running drafts, I know that a box can handle this many players, and that's it, right? When it was in that small set block era, where, we had Fate Reforged, it was it 1 Khans, 2 Fate, and then it was 1 Fate, 2 Dragon for that era. So the odd kind of numbers meant that as a store, I had to kind of like allocate out how much this many boxes of this meant this many boxes of this. If I want to run Armenket, Hour of Devastation, well, I got to have 2 to 1 on the ratios of the boxes. And worst of all, if I didn't math it and estimate correctly, then I was stuck holding like boxes of product that smaller sets traditionally never sold well.
Yeah, and that's an important one to mention, is that, let's say you did it wrong. That's one side of the conversation. But even if you do it correctly and the drafts don't sell out, we're just stuck holding the bag. And when you're stuck holding the bag, you have a lot of sets you can move into product. But now you have twice as much of the small set than you do of the big set. And the big set is what people are buying.
Yes. Yeah, because a lot of people want to draft it at home, and they don't want to have to buy 2 boxes to be able to do that.
And like, if you have a large, even those who are buying boxes, because they do exist, people who buy boxes for singles, or people who buy boxes for like some other reason. If your set is twice as big, if it's 380 cards or something close to those, the odds of your cards you want being in that set rather than the 190 card set is just doubled. Like the odds of the cards you want. Like if I'm buying Dragons of Tarkia, the Dragon Lords, like that's the cards I want. If I'm looking at Fate Reforged, what are the odds I want a random manifest card from Fate Reforged? You know what I mean? It's like, yeah.
It's and to help describe the difference between regular sets and small sets, regular sets usually between like 270 to 300 cards generally. Not including like alt arts, variants, and overnumbered, all that kind of stuff. And then the small sets you're looking at, I think they were around anywhere between 160 and like 100. They were like almost 200 by the time we were in the 2-block sets.
Correct.
But that's still
I think
like
some were over 200, but not by much.
Not by much. No, we're talking
220.
We're talking like if you take out the basic lands, it hits the 200 side. So it's it's definitely like there's at least 30% of a set difference, right? Which also meant that, and this comes up in the Tolarian Community College video, that if you have like a bomb rare, or worse, a bomb uncommon, then in a smaller set, you're more likely to see that in draft. So when you're drafting Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you got a way more chance of seeing, like, was it Agent in Black? Than, any other cards. Because it's just an uncommon that's going to show up more because there's only so many uncommons in the whole set, and you're talking about a smaller set, so you're going to have more repeats across the different packs you're opening.
Because you're opening the same number of packs compared to big sets. It's just those packs are just, the cards are more condensed. Yeah,
more condensed. So, if you end up with like bomb cards in uncommon slots, then you're going to have like really solved limited environments, which are really frustrating.
Yeah, and on top of that, it's more likely as well that you get those uncommons because the kind of philosophical design of drafts in modern day is super signpost uncommon focused. The signpost uncommons are like always pushed to the 9 because they want newer players to see a signpost uncommon and know it's a signpost uncommon and go, I'm going to build around this. And they want them to see it immediately and get it.
Yeah, it lessens, I guess, the variability of drafts. That's kind of
by
the thing.
definition the depth.
Yeah, the depth. Yeah. And just to give you an idea, like TMNT has 195 cards, Spider-Man has 198. So already less cards than Spider-Man. We've also got like the Legends in common slot thing, which is just annoying. I think that like, why couldn't you just add a named uncommon? Like you didn't need to add a...
Yeah, and also I think the reverse is also true where you've got cards in TMNT that should be named characters. I forget the name of the characters, but there's a character called like Junk Brothers or like Trash Duo. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but there's a card in the set that's like 2 Trash Brothers, and they're real characters. They're not generic characters in TMNT, but they didn't get a legendary creature treatment. Yet there's like a Michelangelo that's a common.
Yeah,
there's a Raphael that's a common, and they're legendary creatures. And it's like,
which then
does
even
that
when you
seem
start
necessary
applying,
mechanically?
when you start applying the mechanics of legendary into that draft environment as well, like. The big thing about legendaries is they kind of have permission to push them a little because you only have one out in the battlefield at a time. Well, what happens when you've got a deck of like 4 of the same common legendary? Like
you kind of like you floodgate yourself pretty quickly.
You've got dead cards until that card is removed.
Yeah, and it kind of feels weird because the power of the card is much less when that's forced onto you. Yeah. I think more when you talk about like legendaries can be pushed because you also play less of them in your deck generally, unless they're like VV levels, insane. You play less of them in your deck. But in limited, you don't have that luxury. If you're pushed into red, if you're not playing Spider-Man, of course, if you're pushed into red, you're going to have to play the red common legendary. Like, it's a good card, so you're going to have to play it. Like,
it's high value. And, when we talk about small sets and why Wizards got rid of them, when I talk about the Metamorphosis 2.0 article, which I think, if you don't mind bringing that up there, Teddy, it'll be on the overlay or on the screen now for you. They talked about some of the learnings they had, especially when it came to small sets. They had like a whole section about small sets. Mm-hmm. And I'll just quickly read out some bits to it. One of the most eye-opening things about the 2-block model was realizing that some of the problems we attributed to the 3rd set were in fact about small sets. Giving a small set its own identity that also plays well with the large set is problematic. Change too much and the sets feel disconnected. Don't change enough and the new set isn't exciting. The third set hid this problem by making the 2nd set seem better in comparison. But by removing it, the 2nd set then ended up with more focus. So the problem was that the smaller set didn't really have the space to feel unique anyway.
Yeah, it seemed like they understood the problem was it's a smaller set, but they tried to solve the problem with like a Band-Aid solution by solving other problems. Like instead of saying, we're not going to make small sets, which to be honestly fair, before we've hit Spider-Man and TMNT and probably in the future still more, before we hit, I think Assassin's Creed Beyond boosters are also a discussion, but they're a little bit different for clear reasons. In a perfect world, I think Wizards Beyond booster would have done really well and Wizards wouldn't have any of this issue. They'd be selling Beyond boosters for all these cards, but because they did so poorly, I think that's more a reflection. My point being, though, is that for a while that worked. They were just releasing the single sets. And I think it's odd that they go, oh, well, now that we've done this for a while, we're fine. Let's just test out these small sets again and see if it really was the multiple of the same block, or if we were correct and the small sets just suck. And maybe they think to themselves, well, we can win-win if we also push the Universe Beyond sets into these small size sets, because I don't understand necessarily how the IP and the what's the term? The
licensing.
Licensing, thank you. I don't personally understand exactly how the licensing works. I have like a broad stroke idea of it. But I wonder if a large scale set just costs them more than a small scale set for the licensing. So they go, let's test the small scale sets again, and we could just win, like kill 2 birds with 1 stone by paying less for this IP. I wonder if that's something to do with it.
But I mean, like, wouldn't that then be like obfuscating the issue with small sets? Like, if like when I say about pushing it with the Universes Beyond, right? And they're talking about, well, people who like Spider-Man and people who like TMNT are going to buy the set. Well, then like.
But then if that's the case, do people who like TMNT and people who like Spider-Man, from the perspective of from Wizards of the Coast, or maybe their shareholders or whoever is in charge of this release, are they playing draft anyway?
Yeah.
Well, right? Do they care? Are they just buying them for commander singles?
Well, I mean, like we saw that with the Beyond boosters, right? Like people with Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed was really only released as a set that you couldn't do anything with apart from buy.
Yes, correct.
And obviously that I wouldn't call that a commercial success in any sense of the word.
And I agree. However, let me jump in. I agree. However, we're also obviously comparing apples and oranges with something like Spider-Man and something like Assassin's Creed. And also, I want to add that Assassin's Creed made the mistake, a huge fundamental mistake of being like a 5 or was it 6? I think 5 card booster for the same price as normal booster. Like these are at least standard size boosters. Like the number of cards you can get overall are lower, but the sets themselves. You're getting the like if I buy a play booster of Spider-Man, I'm getting 14 cards. If I buy a play booster of Edge of Shoney's, I'm getting 14 cards, and they both cost me not the same number. But the point is, they cost me $2 more because I'm paying the IP tax. But I'm getting the same number of cards, right? Whereas I'm paying $10 or whatever it was, maybe still $12 for an Assassin's Creed Beyond.
Yeah,
it was $12. It was disgraceful.
It was very expensive.
Do we have them in stock?
Yeah, they're right down there.
They're $12. Yeah, you're right there. They're also $16.20. That can't be right. We'll look at that in a second. Anyway, why does it say $16.20 on it? Anyway. Somebody put a second sticker on that box. Yeah, I'll find you. Anyway, could have been me. Anyway, they're $12 boosters. Point is you're getting a lot less. So I think Beyond boosters are just like Aftermath boosters are just
it's not a great purchase.
Wholesale, not a great purchase. So maybe there's and maybe actually this might even support your point actually, where all these issues are obfuscating the greater issue. Like if I just say like, but actually, Dylan, there's actually all these other issues with Assassin's Creed. Maybe that's where they're coming from with these sets, where it's like, actually, there's all these other problems with blocks. And it's like, no, but just the small set thing sucks.
Yeah.
That's clearly the problem. But they go, no, there's all these other problems. So maybe I'm just contributing to the problem.
I mean, there's always whataboutism.
Yes, whataboutism, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think maybe I'm trying to empathize with the perspective of them. So maybe that's why I'm falling into the same tropes, right? Because I'm trying to empathize with their problems. So.
But my concern then is like if they're obfuscating the issues they're having with small set saleability by slapping an IP on it that people will buy anyway, like are they not getting like correct data on how these sets aren't working from a sales perspective? I'll approach as to how I believe that in a short bit because I still want to talk about TMNT first. But yeah, wouldn't they then be obfuscating that?
Yeah, and that's kind of I think part of the major issue. It's like, well, I wonder if the person who decides that cares if it's obfuscated. Yeah. If that makes sense. Like the person in charge of making that decision.
It's money for the shareholder.
It's money like maybe the person in charge of like decision, which this is like, we're going to get back to your point now, but I want to just make the last point. This conversation always frustrates me to no end because it's like I find I have this conversation a lot with people who are the anti-universes beyond, the anti-magics right now. And it's like this is a valid discussion, right? It's a totally valid discussion. But it always makes me like kind of gives me conniptions when I start to like have to discuss the shareholder and the money and the background and all of this like, the marketing and whatever. And this came up with Laura when I have to talk to customers and not customers, like people I talk to, sorry. And it's always talking about, well, it's a January set and they don't really put a lot of marketing behind January sets because in the new year things don't sell very well. And, I hate that discussion so much. Like it frustrates me to no end that it's always...
It's also crazy that like the January set is like a one-off kind of thing.
Yeah.
There'll be like 1 year where the January set just goes gangbusters and then the following year it'll be Coldheim.
Yeah, and they'll always come back to Coldheim when they're talking about it and go like, well, it just doesn't do well and it's too volatile. And you're like, well, whatever. It seems you're not.
Well, let me tell you what's volatile. TMNT. Let's get back to the volatility of it, right?
The volatility.
Like let's talk about your argument there of like, well, maybe they know that this isn't why they're obfuscating it, right? Well, that's probably, I'd argue, like a more dangerous place for them to be in, right? Because that means they know that small sets suck, and they still did this.
Well, I mean to say, what I'm trying to say is they understand that small sets have had problems, but they don't want to admit, or they truly don't believe their data shows that it's the small sets that are the issue. And they've talked about it openly being like, we found the small sets are bad, that's why we got rid of blocks. But maybe they're trying to say, we got rid of blocks because that we felt was the real problem and the small sets weren't the real problem. And now they're coming back going, let's find out if small sets are the real problem. And then they go, and like I said, assuming, my whole argument is built on the fact that there's a licensing value to a smaller set. And if there isn't, then my argument has no water. That's why I said I don't quite understand. But if there's a licensing value to a smaller set, then why wouldn't you kill two birds with one stone? Why wouldn't you go, well, we can test if we can do smaller sets? Because if it does work out and it's great and these sell really well like hotcakes, we can keep doing it, which is not what's happened. But if it doesn't work out, we can go, well, okay, it definitely wasn't Spider-Man, one of the most popular characters of all time that people know and love and people would fall head over heels for. It definitely was not Spider-Man. It was definitely the small set problem. And then maybe that's, is that the answer they've come to?
Well,
can I ask a genuine question?
Sure.
I hope so.
How far in advance are decisions like this made, though? Like, is this like a Marvel timeline, like zoom out, where they had decided on
here's
TMNT
the thing, right?
and its size and a lot of the details way before Spider-Man came out? So even though they knew Spider-Man flopped, they couldn't change the TMNT stuff?
I think that TMNT and Spider-Man were designed to be beyond sets.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was implying earlier with my statement too. I think what we know is it's at least 18 months. That's what we know?
Yeah.
It's at least 18 months.
From a store perspective, we already have our numbers in for Marvel.
Isn't that crazy, by the way, at home? We're not going to tell you what the number is right now or at all. But
we generally have a 4-month window for us to get numbers in. So that's usually when things start shipping out from suppliers.
Correct. And if it getting to the point where it's shipping out from suppliers, you're well over a year into it.
Yeah.
Like the actual making of the set, well into over a year. So
printing has already happened.
Print is
all those
print is
decisions
about
already
3
happened.
months. I would argue with the scale that they have, the printers they have access to, the scale, and also like the reality is it's cardboard in boosters. It's probably looking at about a 3, maybe 4 month at most print window to like from pre-production to on the water. So that's just from my experience in publishing games as well.
Sure,
so,
but I'm talking like even from like you have to start it from a set
Yeah.
conceptually. Like I'm giving it every single step of the path, not just like from the we've done TMNT and how it gets to stores, because that's already like
exactly
the 7 month-ish.
Any decisions made from the results of sales of TMNT are not going to be felt until probably mid 2027 at the earliest.
Correct.
At the absolute earliest.
Yes.
And I'm talking about that January, February sets next year having a reduced print run because of it. That's like where we're starting to look at. That's how far in advance like things buttons are being pressed.
Yeah.
So from that point, sorry, you gonna say something?
No, you guys. I was gonna kind of riff off what you were saying, but go
on. That's roughly.
Well, because because they have numbers from Spider-Man and they're like, oh, Spider-Man did so much better. Then why still TMNT no changes have been made? Like everything was already decided?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But I will say though that we do know about Spider-Man, like it was infamous. They were talking about TMNT saying TMNT was designed from the ground up to always be the small size set that was standard. But we know Spider-Man was not always meant to be a standard set. And we know Spider-Man was meant to be a beyond set.
Yeah.
That part we knew. And they had to introduce new stuff. And that was decided after Assassin's Creed's failures. And
before printing.
So they were able to kind of halt the process. Let's delay it a little bit, but we'll get some extra work done on that. So clearly there's some level between that within that 18 months or plenty of room
where they
within
can
18
make
months
changes.
where they can make changes.
But when did Assassin's Creed come out? Let me just check.
Let's find out.
Assassin's Creed.
I want to say that Assassin's Creed though was designed the same way Aftermath was. And if I remember correctly, Aftermath, they didn't have time to learn from Aftermath. There was something to do with, I forget what the set was. But there was like,
Outlaws.
Outlaws, that's right.
Outlaws, they folded the Aftermath set into a bonus sheet.
That's right, as the bonus sheet.
Yeah, we're talking July 5th, 2024. So it was over a year before we got to this point, right?
Correct.
So if Spider-Man saw the failure of sales for Assassin's Creed, so let's assume that there was like a month in market before they were able to pull the trigger on the decision for Assassin's Creed. Like, give them the benefit of the doubt and give them at least a month to kind of figure out the sales movements on that and the feedback, because we've already got the how did you sell during pre-release survey that we got to fill out every set because stores get that. It's not going to look good for them. But Assassin's Creed, July 5th, 2024, Spider-Man was last year, November. So we're talking 12... 14, 15 months?
15 months.
15 months, roughly. So that's...
It was probably like March of that same year that they realized they needed to do some work to Spider-Man. They need to solve the Spider-Man dilemma.
I reckon they would have kicked off redesigning Spider-Man in October, November 2024.
It's possible.
Or they would have been going through testing at that point, at least. Because they would have had to send that off to print... probably in, I want to say Feb at the latest. If Spider-Man came out in September.
In November.
No, September.
September? Bring it up, bro. bring it up. You were the one hit maybe November, so that's why I was thinking. That's why I said Feb.
Avatar was November. Sorry.
Yeah, so it wasn't November because that's.
I'm not
I was
going
like,
to be fast at finding this either. Don't
that's
ask
right.
me
Don't
to bring
worry.
it up.
Dylan
Yeah.
will find it. Yeah, because you said November. That's why I said Feb, March, because that makes sense to me. But if it's September, then we're in the December territory. Either way.
Yeah, end of Sep.
End of Sep. Yeah, so we're in the December territory.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, because they would at the latest would have been February hitting go on production.
Yeah, so they had to scramble.
So yeah, you can definitely see that where playtesting, if you're playtesting for at least a month, yeah, you can see that trajectory of maybe in August they go, holy shit, we need to do something about Spider-Man. Everyone give us plans on what we need to do, and then they come up with the expended. So that's why likely Ninja Turtles was designed from the ground up, is because they finished designing Spider-Man, send it off to print, and then immediately started designing Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, and they definitely would have been like, internally, this is a slam hit. This is a slam dunk. Internally, they were like, we're not worried about Spider-Man as a play booster because it's, from their perspective, I bet they would have thought Assassin's Creed, sure, but Spider-Man, that's going to work as a Beyond booster. But because Assassin's Creed failed as a Beyond booster, Beyond's going to bring down Spider-Man. So when they move to a play booster, internally they're like, this is gold.
High fives all around.
High fives all around.
Yeah.
This is perfect. We're not worried about it. And now we've reached TMNT.
Yes, and I want to talk purely from a business perspective right now. Okay, like I understand as a player, there's some cards are cool, some cards are a bit weird. But from a business perspective, me as a store owner, I can tell you that this set bombed so bad. Like we managed to cut back some of our pre-order with our distributor for TMNT, which bless up to the distributors for letting us do that. Like that's 10, 12 years of business where like we've been able to pull a few favors and finagle some stuff.
Yeah.
We obviously didn't cancel outright, but I know of stores that got refused if they wanted to cut their numbers. Like I know stores across Australia were like, we need to cut numbers for TMNT, and suppliers were just like, nope, you put this order in 6 months ago, you're keeping it at this number. That's it. And I can fully understand why. Like that, this is just, who's holding the bag. I know that distributors don't make much on Magic at all because it's such an easy selling product that they're making, like barely 10% on. So we are, like, as a store owner, we are making like the lion's share of the margin on the product, which, to be fair, is hard to make anything close to what we normally would make on a product. But yeah, there's just a bunch of stores got denied. So there is just a bunch of stock sitting out there, out in the wild, right? And the stories that are coming in from other stores around Australia and New Zealand, which I see, there is a group of stores attached to WPN that have Facebook groups around that. I'm obviously not going to share exactly who these stories were from and where they were because I don't want to betray that kind of confidence. It's meant to be a store owner only group or a store manager only group. But there are stores that were just outright canceling their pre-releases. Like they had such low interest. Like they had like one person on Friday night and one person on Saturday.
I'm sure if you're a listener, like right now, I'm sure some of our listeners have experienced this firsthand.
Yeah.
Like you don't even need the confidentiality thing. I mean, you do. But like I'm saying, like I'm sure personally these players have experienced it. You may have gone to your local store and been like, oh, I'm here to play pre-release. Like, yeah, sit down. You're the third person. You're the third person who's going to show up.
Like stores managing to scrounge together 4 players for a pre-release because 2 of them were staff who are just off shift.
Or on shift.
Yeah, or on shift. Like there's just no interest from players on this. Like look, good with the bad, some stores had perfectly fine weekends, I think a lot of those stores are real comic focused stores rather than being like a pure gaming stores. I think some of those stores are really in just different areas that have a more, I want to say like a more family oriented space. We are quite solid in the, I guess, young adult gamer space for our store, our markets.
And we're also in a pretty high economic area as well, which also helps with that too.
But no, I don't know of any store that ran out of stock over the weekend,
Oh, dude.
or blasted through their allocations and had to like source more.
No chance.
No one.
Absolutely the opposite.
Now, I can't tell you exactly what happened to each of the stores, but I can tell you what happened to us. I know that Lorwyn, complete sellout. I know that
attendees.
I know that Avatar was also a complete sellout. I know that Edge of Eternities was a complete sellout. So this isn't just like a Universes Beyond thing. This is this sets, right?
I remember Bloomburrow for us was record-breaking.
Yes.
Bloomburrow was absolutely record-breaking.
We're still selling it.
We're still selling Bloomburrow every day.
We still can barely keep it in
Every
stock.
day.
But like Spider-Man, hands down, like when you account for the growth of the business over the years, like where we are now versus, when we were just a smaller store over in Charlotte Street, or like we could only get what we could get, which is much smaller than what we can get now. But as like a percentage of what we are able to get our hands on, Spider-Man was our worst performing set up to pre-release weekend.
Of all time.
Of all time. When you like account for our store growth. Smallest performing set. And we basically measured that from like pre-order starting to the Sunday of pre-release weekend, because that can give us a pretty good like idea of where a set's going to go. What are we looking at from a sales cycle perspective, moving across the life of the product. And yeah, Spider-Man was the worst. That was until TMNT, where TMNT did less than 1/3 of our total Spider-Man sales.
Less than 1/3 of our worst performing set of all time.
Yep.
Which, if you imagine that, that number is hard to imagine, actually.
Yep. So congratulations, TMNT.
You're record breaking.
I'll put
You're
a
kind
little
of like Bloomburrow.
Yeah. Pew! Well done.
Yeah, I'm wondering, do we play like the Price is Right? Like
No.
sound? Like,
You've done it for us.
I've got a little confetti cannon I'll put up on the screen. It'll be great.
Yeah, you showed that one off earlier.
Yeah.
I've seen that one. It's pretty good. Mark it.
Now, like still worst performing set, but we also cut some of our numbers from suppliers, so we're still pretty overloaded. Like our pre-release kits are on clearance already.
That was mind-blowing. Like talking to the staff as well, when we put pre-release kits on clearance, and it was less than a week after the pre-release had happened.
It was the Tuesday.
It was 2 days.
It was Tuesday.
2 days.
Or was it Monday?
No, it was Tuesday. It was Tuesday. It's not the next day.
Yeah,
it was 2 days.
Tuesday.
It was 2 days after.
It was floating in my head on Monday. I can tell you that now for sure.
Isn't that crazy?
But on Tuesday, we put them on clearance because we had over 100 of them available across both stores. And look,
And for our overseas viewers, I don't know if you can see the resolution of these prices. We are an Australian store. These are not US dollar prices. I just want to make that clear.
I should also say the price that we had our TMNT pre-release and the pre-release kits for was $10 less than what a Universes Beyond pre-release and pre-release kit actually goes for.
Yeah.
So they were already reduced.
Yes. Just to try and get numbers.
Just try and get numbers up. So, like if we factor in like, a set's usually 10 weeks. We reduced our numbers. We're probably looking at okay. If we were to run this out over 10 weeks time, over a 10-week set, 10 to 11-week set, usually that's what sets used to be. I would feel a little bit okay. I'd be a bit antsy about how much we had now and would still be considering putting stuff on clearance, but I wouldn't be putting stuff on clearance right now, right? But by the time you're watching this, Strixhaven is 5 weeks away.
Yeah.
I need space in the cabinet and I need cash to be able to pay for the next set.
Yeah.
That's coming out in 5 weeks. 5 weeks.
It's crazy.
It's barely 6 when we're recording it, by the way. So
can we stop? I don't know. It's such an empty, vapid statement, but it's like, it feels crazy. Like, I'm just going to jump in for a second. I play a lot of Riftbound at the moment. Shout out to my boys at Riftbound. UVS games. That game slaps. Love Riftbound.
Fixed templating.
Fixed templating. Yeah. Okay. We can have. Well, let's make a whole podcast about their templating. Why don't we do that for you? Dylan really wants to talk about UVS templating, and it really is bad. But it really is so bad.
Really
it's unbelievably bad, and it's actually embarrassing because we've been in the card game space for over 30 years, like easily, and seems the craziest thing to get wrong. But I digress. Chinese game. I digress. Even that game with its 3-month sets, it's 12-week sets. It's already constricting. It's already constricting people. Like, I've been talking to a lot of people who, like, they just announced what we have. So we just had Spirit Forged.
Yeah.
Then it's Unleashed. Then it's Vendetta. Then it's Radiance.
Yeah.
So we got some announcements for Radiance, the 5th set. Calm down. Hey, whoa. You know, I'm talking about regionals coming out for Sydney in May.
You got a
and
classic.
it seems that Unleashed will come out before that.
Unleashed comes out a week before that.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be legal for it, right? Because it's like 2 weeks. Well, we'll find out what UVS does. If it's legal, I will not be going. No, I will be going. I lie. But I will not.
How dare you?
I will
How
be
dare
grumpy.
You fill this store as a house of lies?
Sorry. I will be grumpy about it. That's crazy. Clearly that will not be legal for it. I don't know. We'll find out. There'll be a bunch of product.
Hey.
It'll be fun.
You'll get Master Yi through, brother.
I will. If the third set's legal, I promise you I will not. But that deck's going to be so bad. I digress. Point is, even that's constricting, and we're in this format where just 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And we need Strixhaven. We need Strixhaven. You know what I mean? Because Strixhaven is Lorwyn. Strixhaven is Edge. Strixhaven is the set we need as a hobby shop to work.
Sets that sell out.
We need them to work as well. We need the money to buy them. We need to be able to stock them. We need to be able to market them.
You look at Reddit, right?
Boo. Next point.
But like on Reddit, you know, the whole thing is like, if you don't like what's happening with the Universes Beyond, vote with your wallet. Vote with your wallet. Vote with your wallet. Yeah, people are.
Yeah.
Like people are now. Like TMNT didn't sell. Spider-Man didn't really sell. Like Avatar. You know what? Avatar after pre-release, we were sending boxes back. We actually received a case from an accidental reorder for Avatar, and we sent that back because like we didn't need it.
No.
Like Universes Beyond isn't really selling like classic Magic is.
No,
at least for us.
And that's a dangerous part, right? Because like we can't philosophically disagree, because voting with your wallet is probably going to be the most important thing you do. Like it's probably going to be, you know, outside of just like the data they're getting from like people's interactions through social media and our interactions as OPM stores, like, that kind of stuff, which is directly related to the sales. But my point is, you know, that is going to be the most impactful thing to Wizards and Hasbro, most importantly, is don't buy it and they won't make it. But if we're the ones arguably making the lion's share of that, we're the ones making the share of that, who's it hurting primarily? And who's it hurting? Who is it hurting, right? Really heavily in the short term. I guess that's kind of my question.
Well, let's have a chat about that, Trent. Bring up the image I put in the Discord, Teddy. Yeah. I'm sure we all saw Maro this week.
Dude,
with his little comment.
I want to make a podcast where we just literally, let's do a podcast, right? I want to say this right now, where we go through Bloggertog and we just list off things he says on Bloggertog. I think that man should be banned from social media. That man should be banned from having a voice online.
I disagree. I like Maro. I think it's really refreshing to have someone who is trying to be open with people. I think it's really annoying when
I didn't know that's what he looked like.
It is.
You should hear what he sounds like. Sorry, but you should. So the image you're probably seeing on screen now, by the way, is someone asked on Bloggertog, did Edge of Eternities or Spider-Man sell better? And he said Spider-Man did. Edge of Eternities did great and beat our expectations, but Spider-Man is one of the top 10 best-selling sets of all time. Maro, my man, I feel sorry for you. Like, not like a depressive sorry. I'm sorry that you're now so detached from the reality of store-based play and store-based economics that you are riding this line. You are sending out this information from this like tower of I want to say privilege.
Just a pile of money.
Well, I mean, like it's not even him that has the pile of money. It's Hasbro that has the pile of money.
This is what I'm talking about.
It's that the wool is being pulled over the eyes of people like Maro who are trying to communicate with the community, and I absolutely applaud that. I think that is the best thing to do. I am sorry that you are placed in a situation where you have to toe the company line because either A, you like genuinely believe it, in that case, okay, or B, you're getting data that is wrong. Dude, and it's I can tell you from my perspective and from the perspective of a bunch of stores that I talk to, the data you're getting is just patently false.
But he's not projecting the information like his data is questionable.
I know.
This is what I'm saying. I'm not saying. Let me make it very clear.
Idiots.
Well, let me make it very clear. Okay, let me make my point very clear. I do not believe philosophically that having a boots on the ground member of the industry talking to the community is a bad thing. In fact, that's an insane take.
Yeah.
I clearly don't think it's
that's a
bad,
really bad
that the company is willing to talk to us at a human level. I think Mark Rosewater should not be allowed to talk to us at a human level. That man is a liar. That man is a liar. He is a fraud and he is a cheat. And I got to stand by that statement. I don't care.
That's Trent's statement, by the
There's
way.
people, yeah, it's not Vault Game's statement. There are people like Gavin Verhey and such that I don't personally talk to, sorry. I misspoke there. Where I watch them talking to people and I watch them engage and I see people in the close and close to the ground level, even like some of the content creators like Jocelyn Kwai who are getting really close to the ground level and are really engaged with the thing. And where they come from is a place of there's a genuine understanding and there's a real response. And when they have to toe the line, they don't misinterpret information. They don't misguide you. They don't mislead you. When they have to toe the line, they just don't give you the information. Like Gavin Verhey is very famous for not answering questions when they toe the company line. Mark Rosewater will lie.
Okay.
He's famous for it. I would love to sit down and go through a bunch of Blogger Talk stuff. It frustrates me to no end because it's all the time. And it feels like maybe Blogger Talk might be this ARG where you kind of have to read
Tinfoil hat
between
time,
the lines.
Universe is
Right?
Blogger Talk.
And I imagine if you go into the HTML of the website, there's like links to things in drives you shouldn't see because and maybe if you click on the letter T and it jingles a bit, I feel to me there has to be because otherwise it just blows my freaking mind, the shit that he says. And you're here, no shade to this, but you're here defending this person, right? And as you defend him, you have to go, either you believe that and whoa, or you don't and you're being lied to. And then you're just telling everyone all these lies and that's not so good. But I'm glad that you do it. Why are you glad that he does that? That's clearly bad. That's clearly really bad. Why?
It's bad that he lies.
It's bad that if he thinks that's the truth, he projects it, that he keeps doing it.
Yeah.
Especially when you have demonstrable proof that it's not true. And obviously Dylan's proof is not every single card shop that's ever existed in every single place ever. Right? But it's a huge sample size.
Yeah.
Especially in the AUD market. Sorry. Especially the AUD market. Huge sample size. I've seen the math. Makes me so mad.
It's crazy. So to back to this, when you're talking about Edge versus Spider-Man, right? Spider-Man was a bestseller according to Morrow. According to WotC data, Spider-Man is top 10 seller and better than Edge of Eternities. Of the two sets mentioned there, one of them have been on clearance with me for the last 2 months that ended last week when I finally got down to a number of boosters that I'm satisfied holding as a store owner. And the other one I ran out of on Saturday pre-release. Admittedly, Magic was a bit hit and miss during the Edge Tarkia era. And we were told that we would get restocks. So we ordered a little bit down to make sure that we were able to get the restock, which turns out we couldn't because we sold out of Edge by the Saturday pre-release events. Within I think it was by 1:00 on Saturday of pre-release. So barely 24 hours of sales, not including pre-orders. We were completely sold out of Edge of Eternity stuff.
Considering too that our pre-orders we don't allow pre-orders that get close to our entire allocation.
No,
so we cut off a certain pre-orders. You can't just pre-order enough that we sell out. That means we had to sell out of a considerable amount of product within that first just under 24 hours. For those at home,
it's just insane, And
wait, do you
on.
have the data on how long it took us to get that restocking?
Yeah, 'cause it was
of Edge?
always recent.
We got it back. We got a restock back about a month and a half ago of Edge of Eternities.
Yeah, a month and a half ago, and that was what was the difference there?
So that would be August, September, October, November, December, January. So that was 5 months. 5 months without stock. It's the same with Tarkia. Tarkia was the set before Edge of Eternities, and we didn't see a restock until a month and a half ago.
Unbelievable, right?
Insane.
It sold so much better. Yeah, because we didn't freaking have it to sell. You
Now-
didn't give us enough product to sell.
And that's the thing too.
To blow your numbers.
We didn't have. It wasn't even at our suppliers until a month and a half ago. We got extra stock in for a convention by buying it from another store
Yeah.
who was willing to sell it to us at a lower than retail price. They didn't sell it for cost because there's still
They're
a whole
also a
bunch of
business.
handling. Well, there's still handling charges on everything that do. The amount of time it took for someone to pack them all up and send them to us, that's all time that we got to pay for as well.
Correct.
So we had to charge a different number on that, right? Now, I should also note that we didn't see it at our suppliers until a month and a half ago, but one of those suppliers did have plenty of enough stock of it to be able to sell it at PAX Oz and at, various regional direct-to-consumer events that they were running.
While telling us they had no product.
While telling us that they had no product.
While telling us we weren't able to order the product because they didn't have enough product, but they did have enough product to have it on their display.
At events that they were in charge of. Because, of course, guys, they have it. The distributor, the only feasible way we can get it, the only realistic way we can access it, and they go, well, we just don't have any, guys. We don't have any as someone's unpacking a box behind them.
Oh, unpacking pallets.
Yeah, unpacking pallets.
Pallets behind them.
Yeah. God, that's a whole discussion. I'm working on something on that. That's a whole nother discussion for another video once I have tangible stuff. That means I'm protected from defamation.
Yeah.
But now this whole process, right, of saying that Spider-Man, was out of stock, what was bestseller, is because distributors had to buy a ton of it because everyone wanted more Magic. Magic was constantly starting to sell out. Now this is something that came up when I'd say about 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago. Shit, the time's compressed for me now. It was probably 3 years ago now, where Wizards of the Coast stopped self-distributing and then and stopped exclusive distribution in Australia. And I said, this is going to be bad because this means that stores are now going to over-order at multiple distributors for when their allocations get cut down.
Yeah.
And this is what happened. It happened with Edge. People over-ordered. We got cut on Edge. We got cut on Avatar. We got cut on Takia. We got cut on Lorwyn. We aren't getting the numbers we want. So we over-order. But guess what? Everyone got Spider-Man. Everyone got Spider-Man that they ordered. No cuts there. Except for the scene boxes. But, no cuts there. Ha, 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 tee, hee, hee. So now everyone's holding stock for shit that they don't want. So distributors ordered all the stock they needed, which means that it was the best-selling set because Wizards of the Coast only sells direct to consumers and to suppliers. They don't get the numbers from stores. They don't see that suppliers have pallets of Spider-Man and pallets of Avatar sitting there right now. Who cares?
Doesn't matter.
Because Wizards already got the money.
They don't care. Hasbro got the money.
Hasbro got the money.
So they don't care.
Already
sold. They don't care. That's what it doesn't matter where it goes after the supplier. At that point, the money's been made. So it's best selling set ever.
And
again, it doesn't matter the context to why that's happened. It doesn't matter the ramifications of that. It's just the money's on the wall.
Yeah, they've got it. Who cares? You know what I haven't restocked since pre-release? Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I haven't needed to restock it. I want to get rid of it, right? We sent back a re-accidental order of Avatar because we didn't need it.
Our Spider-Man boosters are $13.99, right? Every other, so is our TMNT. It's $14 Australian.
That's Universes Beyond booster price.
Universes Beyond booster price. Well, my point being, our other major play boosters are $12 Australian each. Our major premier sets, right?
Yeah.
We put our Spider-Man packs on clearance for $6 each. Half the price.
That's below cost.
That's below cost. Half the price of a normal premier set to get them off our shelves. God, I'll tell you, during that, what was that, a month we had that for? Maybe just under a month?
It was 2 months.
2 months.
It's since Christmas.
Compressed.
Since just before Christmas.
2 months now that they were just shooting off shelves. Spider-Man was our best-selling set for $6 a booster because you just value for money of the amount of cardboard you're physically getting, shooting off our shelves. And for those international viewers, it's $3.50 US.
Yeah.
Give or take. Think about that. For a booster pack of Spider-Man.
You can't buy a candy bar for that.
Come on, candy bar for that. That's unbelievable.
This shit is not selling how you think it is, Hasbro.
And it only sold for us if we made it unbelievably valuable. You know what? I don't know if we ever sold those boosters for $10. If we put them on clearance for 10, I probably wouldn't have sold them.
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Look, I want to just, speak to Wizards of the Coast and I guess to Hasbro as well.
We know that you're all listening, by the way.
We know that you're all listening. You're obviously all
listening
here. You are taking a break from your swimming pool of money to listen to two white guys in the arse end of the planet talk about this.
Yeah.
But your brains are so mushed by cocaine and microplastics that you don't really understand what is happening on a store level and how you're it up.
But the question is the real question becomes, do they care? Because you're saying they don't understand. And I'm saying, I feel like they know very well what they're doing. I think they have a very good, I don't know if Mark Rosewater does, shut up.
I don't.
But I think there are people within the Hasbro space, and those are the most upper end. I feel like they see what's happening.
I don't think they do. I don't think they do. This brings me back to a discussion I had probably about 2 years ago now, almost, at an open day with a supplier where I had like a pretty heated discussion with myself and a couple of other store owners against Hasbro, the Hasbro employee, regarding Dungeons and Dragons.
Because it's his fault. I'm kidding. Go on.
Yeah.
Sorry,
well,
Karen.
they were the only avenue, and we prefaced this whole discussion with them about, hey, look, we know that you're the one that's standing in front of us. We don't have a problem with you. We have a problem with the people above you that you need to take this problem to, because we obviously aren't talking to them in the room right now.
Clearly, yeah. I'm just
but this is about like D&D 2024, which is now 5.5 finally. That was done this week, by the way, if you didn't know.
I saw.
But yeah, we're talking about the players' handbooks and how players' handbooks and monster manuals and DM guides, the first printing of these books were cut so dramatically that, we had to cancel pre-orders for customers. Now, we usually only put up around 50% at most of our allocations, purely just to be like, hey, we know we're going to get cut on things. We know that things are going to change or there may be delays. So we want to minimize how much extra work we have to go into when it comes to pre-orders, right? Because that's those minor, those discussions we have with customers and performing refunds. Well, we don't get the money back for having those discussions with customers the time we spend on customer support. We don't get the money back on transaction fees anymore.
Yeah.
Like PayPal and Shopify don't refund transaction fees if you refund an order. So every time you refund an order, we're eating 4% of that transaction.
And even outside of just like from the business end of what we're losing, it's also like we just don't want to have the
we don't want to have the shit experience for the customer.
That's really important too.
That's
because
the other
because
thing,
also
right?
It really is kind of like you just drew the short straw, so you don't get the product in the sense of like it's usually based on like how recent the orders were. But at the same time, like you can't know if you order a player's handbook how many people before you ordered from Vault Games. Like you're not going to know. So from your perspective, it's like I guess I just missed the cutoff date that was never marketed to me and never expressed clearly to me. But I guess because I missed that random cutoff date that was then introduced to us and them and everyone recently, like within hours of this conversation, hypothetically, it's like, oh, guess I don't get my book that I really wanted. Yeah. And I get the refund. Great. Because I really wanted money. That's why I spent it on the book, because I wanted the money.
Yeah.
The customer.
But anyway, we're having this discussion with the guy, and he says to us, well, we don't know how many players' handbooks are sold, so we can't adequately forecast the demand. And instantly I'm like, excuse me? Like, we're a premium store, right? We're a WPN premium store, which is going away, by the way. Not surprised at that one. Considering all our benefits were cut over the last like 12 months, 24 months. But
we got the big cool sign.
We got the big cool light-up sign. Yeah, they sent us an extra one by mistake. It's over at Clayfield.
Cool.
Anyway,
Cool.
They said we can't forecast. As a premium store, we were required to send through our sales data of Wizards of the Coast products to Wizards of the Coast every month, right? We were required to do that. There were stores, every premium store in the US had to do it. Regular stores were on an opt-in basis to do it over in the US and the US and Canada as well. They had problems doing it in the UK because of like EU GPRD data protections.
And all the knife fights.
Yeah, the knife fights. But every product we sold, every event ticket, every book, every sale of Betrayal at House on the Hill.
Essentially everything.
Everything that came from Wizards of the Coast was sent to them every month, right? And they knew exactly how many we sold, what we sold it for, what the cost of good was, like everything. They knew what we were doing.
They had the data.
They
data. Asked for it.
They asked for it. We gave it to them, right? And then randomly, I think like a month and a half, 2 months prior to this meeting, they told us to stop doing it because we're not really using. We don't know. We just don't do it. We're like, why? And they're like, just don't do it. Well,
we feel it's no longer necessary.
We're just not using the data. Like, I guess if you mold your entire product line on FOMO hype beast culture shit, like, of course distributors are going to over purchase like 6 months out from a set. You know? And that's why we've got TMNT unable to be cancelled by stores that are now got to go under because they've been shifted shit product that you knew was shit, that like they're just left holding the bag. Someone's got to hold the bag, and I tell you what, it's not going to be the customers, and it's not going to be you. It's going to be us. It's going to be stores, and we can handle this one. Like that's fine. We like I said, it's on clearance. We're doing what we can to make the cash.
Uniquely, we can.
Yeah.
Not we the royal we, the hobby shop.
We Vault
Games
have strategies in place to deal with it. And not everyone does.
And some others may, of course. But not everyone does. And that's mostly accurate because not everyone has the opportunity to.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what this does? This causes market consolidation. Like, business guy is now going to start going on like an anti-monopoly tirade.
Okay, before he gets to anti-monopoly tirade, he did say hype, moments, and aura, which did make me think of Mr. Beast Feastable. So I was thinking of a Mr. Beast Feastable secret lair. So while you're talking about this, I'm going to let everyone know at home, I'm thinking of a Mr. Beast Feastable secret lair. Then go ahead.
Foil edition, like one of the foil editions comes with a golden ticket.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Yeah, look, how consumerist am I? I'm already on board with this.
You're like, I can market this.
Have you seen all the Shopify ads, Mr. Beast Shopify ads yet?
No.
Sorry, he's been doing a lot of Shopify ads, which is something that just blows my actual marbles. He's doing, I'm not kidding, Shopify.
Yeah. It's because his whole product, his whole platform, his whole merch platform is built on Shopify.
Oh, clearly. But I'm just saying that, like, I know, go ahead.
But
Dystopian.
Anyway, I'm going to go on an anti-monopoly rant now because I'm probably...
Well, we don't sell it here, so it makes sense.
It makes sense, yeah. As another Hasbro product, obviously you're built towards it.
We'll have to send them the marketing data of our not selling Monopoly. How many people borrow it from our library? Not enough.
But I like competition. I like having competition in the market. I like having a point of difference between myself and other stores. I like whether that's my community, whether that's my prices, whether that's how I treat customers when they walk in the door, my sales service, all that kind of stuff. Everyone has their own unique slice. And, even we mentioned in the cheating episode last time about like Gronk stores still got to exist, right? Well, like when you pull shit like this that will cause stores to go under, market consolidation will happen. Either the market reduces with those stores closing from too much debt, or, which has happened in the past, a company, a franchisor, may utilize the debts that store owes to a supplier and buy that store. And that market consolidation just hurts everyone, and it'll hurt you. It'll hurt you because when
I'll hurt you. Sorry.
I'll hunt you out, random executive of Hasbro. No, it'll hurt you guys because now you guys will have A, less places to sell your product, B, less people involved in your product because in my experience of running a store, there's like I said, there's two ways. Either the store's closed down or someone takes them over. I can tell you what happens when they close down. When a store implodes, the community is gone for anywhere between 12 and 24 months. If a store, and it depends on how bad the store blows up, like one of the reasons we probably, from my perspective, we probably pushed Clayfield into the world. We pushed it probably about 6 to 8 months too early, because I was concerned about community implosion with a store closing down and how that store closing down community implosion was now reaching its end point, like its rough end point of where I thought it was going to end. And when that happens, then another store will open up, and then that kind of like hurts the market for opening other stores. And we were always planning to go in this space, but I had to speed up Clayfield because that market implosion was now coming to an end. That market implosion, I wouldn't even consider opening a store in that area if the store that imploded didn't implode. Like,
of course.
Like the community's there. Why would I want to open a store and steal a community from another store? Like, I'm not that much of a dickhead.
And also, like, on two sides of that, it's like, yes, you're not that much of a dickhead, but also it is clearly just not a good business decision because you're not necessarily going to succeed. You'll take, let's say, if we're being very generous, you'll take half of their community.
You got to have a really good model for that.
And that's going to hurt you because you're not going to get a big community. It's going to hurt them because they're going to lose half their community. in this, hypothetical 50-50.
And then the worst thing happens. Both stores implode.
Both stores implode, surely. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then no one's better off.
It's just like... And there's real consequences. There's real consequences to it. The biggest thing that... The hardest thing with this business is that for a lot of store owners, it's not business. It's community, which is a lot of the store owners feel is part of their like extended family. It's a third space for a lot of people, right? In a world where third spaces are reducing, hospitality is fucked. Like I'm getting preach clicks over here.
The fucking
Preach snap, sorry, from Teddy. But hospitality spaces are closing. Like they're going away. The hospitality, particularly in Australia, hospitality is in the worst like market it's ever been in. So third space is getting harder to find, and it's a third space for a lot of people. There are people who have met and got married because they met at our store. They had their first date at our store, and that is true of other stores around the world. And by doing this absolutely batshit crazy hype beast bullshit for your product and letting someone else hold the bag for your absolute brain dead like shithead decisions is going to genuinely hurt people.
Yeah, but I don't care. Cha-ching, cha-ching. Because why do I care that people aren't going to be able to spend time at a hobby shop? Because like they could just play at home. What if we released a product that was just like, don't draft at the store, just take the product home and play it there? Like why don't I just open like my own online shop at some point? Because if I open my own online shop, like, well, I lose a lot of
why don't I
market.
just sell on Amazon?
Well, the thing is like I just lose a lot of my market, right? Because there's a lot of these stupid fucking independently owned hobby shops. They keep trying to fucking show my product, and I have to keep sending them the product and doing it at a real good discount just so that way they can actually make money so they can stay open and support them. But like that just seems like so much work when we can just keep like cut them all out, and then we cut that whole thing out, and then people just play at home, and then they live in like the stacks from Ready Player One, and they live inside their little tiny
VR
bubbles, and they play and they jerk off and they play Magic the Gathering Arena, and they don't play standard paper. That's why we don't do support, and we don't send out our promos on time, and that's why we don't put collector booster samplers and commander decks, because they don't care.
And this is why we slowly remove promos at all.
We don't put names on anything. We have pre-release promos that we put the exact date of the pre-release on, because that's when you went to the shop and you got that first booster. This Unesh Curious Sovereign that says literally the date, the weekend of Hour of Devastation pre-release that you went to and pulled this and built your first command deck or whatever. And then eventually we're like, well, we just don't fucking care because we can keep delaying sets and do whatever we want, and then we'll just put like the year on it. We'll just put the year on it, because that way if it ends up getting pushed or moved around...
We'll open up pre-release, to a whole week.
In case
stuff comes late.
100%. So, and now it's a whole week. We don't want to put that on the thing. So let's just make it like the year. That way, if case things get delayed or like we'll just put a little stamp of the year.
As long as they don't get delayed from November to January.
Well, if that happens, what are we going to do? Well, wait, what if we just took the stamp off?
Yeah.
What if we took the whole fucking point? What if we took that away?
Yeah. What if we instead of putting Ninja Turtles at the end of the year, we put that in instead of putting that in like November, we put Avatar in November.
I like that.
And then we'll push
Turtles
to 2026.
You know what we should do, by the way? We should also say that the people that go to hobby shops, they're playing tournaments. We don't like tournaments. We don't make money off that. Like, we're not making money off tournaments. So what we should do is who's at the top of tournaments? Well, TOs, and who's with them? Judges. TOs and judges. What if don't we have like a support system for them? Fuck that support system. Let's get rid of that whole support framework.
Let's third party license it to someone.
Sorry, that makes more sense.
But let's cancel that license.
That's good.
After a year.
I like that, because then we don't have to keep supporting it.
Yeah.
But it looks like we did our best, and they fucked us over. They can just say that. That didn't work out for us.
Yeah.
That sucks. So let's. But we didn't want to give them money. We didn't want to give them money. We'll give them promotional material.
Yeah, because if we gave them money, then they'd be employees.
Exactly, and we don't like employees in the first place. We want to get rid of most of those anyway, if we could. Except for Mark.
It's not good for the bottom line.
He's like the best. But he keeps lying on social media. We love that. So what if we were just like, they're not employees, so we just give them like good cards, but not good enough cards, because if we give them really good cards, they keep selling them online. That's not making us money. So let's give them basic lands.
Let's give them basic lands. Yeah.
Oh, you don't like that? Well, oh, you don't like basic lands? Cancel you.
No more judge program.
No, you're done.
No.
Oh, you don't want to have planes? You're done.
It had an owl on it.
Explain on Blogathon why. Explain on Blogathon why we didn't do that. Explain right now. Tell them. Tell them right now. Tell them it was their fault.
You know what? Judges. What about events? We don't make money from events.
That's all I was saying.
Why don't we just get... You know what we'll do? We'll let the suppliers do that. We'll let someone else run the events, and then they can charge stores whatever the f*** they want to run the events. Because, it's not us doing it, so who gives a shit?
I fear that will hurt the store.
Nah, it's fine.
But I don't fear anymore.
It's fine. You know what we're going to do?
I fear for them.
What if
empathy alert.
What if we completely change up the WPN program?
Kill it.
And we'll change it up so that WPN Premium doesn't exist. These stores that we exemplified as like the best of the best, right?
Dude, there's a lot of overheads.
We're having a lot of trouble getting stores to do it because, we have pretty stringent aesthetic requirements that aren't really that stringent. But, a lot of people don't want to put on a fresh layer of paint on their store and maybe like wash their tables.
It's not their store. If they're selling Magic the Gathering, it's our store. That's ours. So it's not yours.
If it's not our store, then, how about we just change up WPN program? But that store championship, that's really cool. We're going to actually put that
Another tournament. Oh, yeah. Okay.
But, all we got to do is send some promos, but they got to be really worth it, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to break it all up into tiers. And then we're going to get the mid tier, like the tier where, like, you need to be running events and like a decent amount of events that have a good sized community, right? But we're going to put it like tier 3 to 4. Actually, you know what? Tier 4. I think tier 4 is good to put store
Bracket
championships
4?
on. Tier 4. Out of the 6 tiers, tier 4. Not entry level, not tier 1. You can't even run store championships at tier 1.
You're nothing.
You're nothing.
You don't play Game Changers?
You're
nothing.
just on the store locator at tier 1, right?
But
at tier 4, we'll let you do store championships. Are you a premium store? Okay, we're going to give you 6 months at tier 6. After that, keep earning it. By the way, you need to run a variety of events to keep earning it. So if all you do is Commander and Draft, fuck you.
You're not running Standard, the format we're actively killing. Wait a minute. Those promos, don't you want those? Like Monstrous Rage that we banned
your name
in
on
your format before you release the promo?
Yeah.
Before you get your hands on the promo, we've already banned the promo?
What about the promos that we give you for store championships that have your name on it that never arrive in time for the store championships anyway?
Well, we don't care,
you know what?
dude.
That,
It's not on us.
We're barely putting the date on shit now anyway.
Dude, we're a small indie company. It's a logistics issue.
Yeah.
It's not our fault, dude.
That's it. That's
it's
what
not
it
our
is.
fault. It's your fault, actually. Because you wanted your name on that shit.
You want to sell my product? Fuck you.
Yeah. You want to sell my product.
You want to sell my product? I sell my product on Amazon, direct to consumers.
Yes.
And not via the store because
Secret.
the store. Your third space, bro. Your third space.
Yeah, it feels very upsetting that the game is warped to this kind of degree for me. And I think for a lot of people, they are feeling this fatigue. And I think a lot of people don't necessarily... I don't want to speak for a lot of people, but I want to say I've noticed that there's a pattern of people who may not know how to enunciate this well or may not know how to be clear about this in their own arguments well and are feeling this kind of same feeling that I'm feeling, but are coming at it from a different lens of just, well, I don't care to be comprehensive with this discussion. I just want to say Universe Beyond and Magic, and I don't want to play it, and you should not play it, and you should not buy it, and nobody should buy it. It should die. Like, I've seen a lot of that rhetoric, which I don't like. But it's hard. It's so hard, even from the more playable, just playing the game level, even outside the business level.
Well, yeah, like all this, I could definitely tell you that all this has affected me. Like I haven't played Magic. I haven't played Commander since PAX last year. So that's October. And I haven't played Magic. Well, yeah, Spider-Man was September. So I haven't played Magic since PAX last year. And
you were playing Magic at PAX as almost like kind of a community building kind of thing.
Yeah.
You were like there just to kind of hang out with people. Like if you could play, I don't know, Game of Thrones, the board game, then you could that would be better. You would enjoy that probably more.
Yeah. Well,
but you're not going to get a group of people playing Game of Thrones. The board
played
game.
a lot more Tyrants of the Underdark than I did Commander at PAX.
Yeah. See, so I think it speaks kind of. It's a very loud conversation it's having, and it's tough. It's really tough because I'm different. I've played Magic.
I just had a point, and I'm gonna forget it if I don't say it.
Go ahead.
Don't forget, Trent's built different.
I know, right? Trent, you can keep going forever, but like Dylan said something about people having a lack of interest in this set. And there's a very wide gamut of people who have a lack of interest. And then there's the universes beyond, like, haters. But even in between that lack of interest and active, like, hating all of it, there's, like, still a very wide level of active disinterest because it's TMNT. Like, people have, like, a bad taste in their mouths, whether it's because of Spider-Man or because of something else. They have a bad taste in their mouths, and they actively will say, I will play Magic because I still love Magic and I still will play regardless of universes beyond or not. But because it's TMNT, I'm not going to play until after that. I'll wait until Strixhaven. I'll wait until something else. I'll wait until something better comes along. I just don't want to play TMNT. And that's like a wide variety of the people that I have been interacting with.
We've had someone at Commander Nights just say that because the boosters we give out as prizes at Commander Night for coming along, like one of the boosters we do is the first booster you get is the current set, because that's kind of the thing we go. We also
done it for 10 years.
We've done it for 10 years. If that's how we allocate out our boosters for the whole play season as well.
We're not just grabbing off our sales shelf. We have our allocations.
We have a whole
things.
back room with allocated stock behind there. That's why we don't run out of stock during events. But we had a customer say, because TMNT is the booster we hand out as the first prize, that they are just going to skip Commander and they'll be back when Strixhaven's out.
Isn't that crazy? And I kind of don't empathize or sympathize with that at all, because I think to myself, like,
that's kind of a crazy
here for
stance,
the booster, you freak? Sorry if you're listening right now.
I mean,
I understand the philosophy. I understand the philosophy.
I would argue that it's probably like, a straw on the camel's back.
I feel like it's a small straw, and I think there's a lot of other straws on that player's back. I think you're right. I'm saying to make that the break point for me is kind of very silly. Because I do also believe that TMNT cards much like most money, can be exchanged for goods and services in the sense of, like, the games, the trading card games. So there are people who want those cards.
Yeah,
and
but
they will
does
have cards
that,
you
like,
want.
fall in line with your experience of actually opening the TMNT boosters and actually playing the TMNT cards? Like, we haven't touched on that yet.
I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think in that situation you're the one playing those cards.
No.
That's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say you're moving them to people who will play those cards. Because my boy Rourke, he comes over every so often on the show. He picked up the TMNT, the Total Power deck, and actually this is another point to quickly make. But he over the TMNT, and he's been playing only that, and he's lost every game because it's like a truck deck. But
but it's fun.
He loves it. He loves it more than anything. And he has decks he's built that he doesn't want to play because they suck, and all his decks suck. But he loves this deck, and then he starts saying, I really want to start upgrading it. I want to get some really cool, high quality TMNT stuff. I grew up with TMNT as a kid. I love this shit so much. I don't care about Wizards and Magic and Dragons. I care about this game. And then when it has a thing I also care about in it, cool, I care about this thing and I care about this game. So he's really interested in TMNT. But as he was talking about these upgrades, what flagged in my head was the nature of how problematic the upgrade path was, which was, he goes, but I don't want to put Tezzeret in this deck. Oh, it makes a bunch of tokens that I want to drop their, like, cost of activating, like mutagen cost mana to use, and the Tezzeret from one of the random sets from Kamigawa, I think, makes that 0 cost. Yeah. Makes mutagen really good. Well, I don't want to play that because it's not a TMNT card. So I want to play TMNT cards on a TMNT deck, which I don't disagree with personally. I think that's great. I think it's fine. But if that's your upgrade path, I actually wonder if that's common. I feel that must be quite common. I wonder if people who play TMNT decks really care enough about the mechanics of the cards to make a real commander deck out of them. Not real as in, like, what is and isn't valid, but,
a competitive,
a viable.
Well, not just viable. I mean to say, I
guess a higher bracket.
No, not the point at all. I mean to say, just utilizing the 30,000 cards available to Magic. I'm saying, like, a commander deck that is like the ethos of Commander is the whole game is available to you, build your perfect little representation of what you want to do within the whole ethos of the game. No. It's super insular. It doesn't matter if the TMNT cards are broken. It doesn't matter if there's, like, if every single TMNT card read like Orcish Bowmasters, it would be a bracket 5 competitive deck, right? Yeah. Sure. Even if it was that, he's not doing it for that reason. He's doing it because he just wants the TMNT aesthetic on his TMNT deck, and anything that breaks that aesthetic, which is ironically the nature of how people hate Universe Beyond, because it breaks their aesthetic
of Magic,
because it becomes insular. He only wants a TMNT deck, and he only wants TMNT cards for it. I know there's a guy, Dylan Love, who's an absolute great player that we have here all the time. He plays Commander a lot. He is very famous for loving Final Fantasy. Everyone knows, if you know Dylan, he loves Final Fantasy.
He's playing his VV deck.
If you call him Titus, he will correct you and he will explain to you that that character's name is Titus, and it's called Titus because it's based on like Tita, which is like the sun, and the other character's something that means the moon and some bullshit. And he'll tell me all about this, and he loves Final Fantasy. He got into Magic because Final Fantasy dropped.
Because of.
And he has a lot of decks that are Final Fantasy and they're insular. And a lot of his decks turn into Final Fantasy decks because they're insular. He likes his decks to be Final Fantasy decks. It's like Rourke wants decks to be TMNT decks, I imagine. There are cards that I play in Piper's new, because I built them a new deck, Firelord Zuko. I put Fist of Flame in that deck, and I put Obsessive Pursuit in that deck, which I don't think are that good, but they're in there because one of them has the art of Zuko shooting a fire punch, and the other one is a card with Zuko on the art. And I was like, you want Zuko cards in your Zuko deck? Yeah. These are becoming more and more insular, which means, you know, it kind of antithesis to my problem where I was talking about the way I build decks and the whole, you know, or I guess not antithesis, but reverse problem, where I talk about, there's too much redundancy. Well, it doesn't matter to these players because there's no redundancy.
Yeah.
In the TMNT deck.
Unless that card was reprinted in TMNT.
Exactly.
Twice.
And then Turtle Power, which is, I touched on this earlier, Turtle Power, when we talk about those reprints, has skin cards in the same structure deck as just straight up reprinted cards with new art.
Yeah. Why?
Yeah.
Why are both these cards in the deck? Like, I looked at him opening this box going, what? To the point where he was like, I kind of want to take out some of these skin cards because they are kind of confusing me. I think these are new cards and they're not, because there's actually just normal ass reprints in this set. Like, at least when you look at Godzilla cards, you could be certain there's no mechanically unique ones. You know they're all going to be skins. This is like, no, there are some mechanically unique ones. There are some that are just skins. There are some that just like buy them, like just straight reprints. So it becomes quite rather confusing.
The buy box promo for Ikoria.
Well, that Zilortha, I guess. Yeah, that's unique. But no, Zilortha.
Oh, it got reprinted in March of the Machine.
Commander Masters, I think.
Oh, Commander Masters.
But I think Godzilla still has the bottom Zilortha.
Yeah,
it's
it
a
does.
skin.
Yeah, it's a skin. Yeah,
it's a skin. It got reprinted in Arena first, and then it came out in Commander Masters. But even that was a skin for a card that didn't exist. But that doesn't.
I know, it's just funny.
Yeah.
Dylan just brought up buy a box promo. What buy a box promo?
Yeah, they're gone.
That's I think the spend more, get less ethos. We can't touch on this with the pre-release promos. And this is going to get me into a screaming fit. So I don't want to get into this right now. But, and I also think we've been talking for a while.
I do find it interesting. You know, we're talking about Rourke with Turtle Power.
Hold me back.
I do find that really interesting. I love Ninja Turtles. I grew up on Ninja Turtles as well. Like when I was making these products in our back-end data entry system, I had TMNT 2 Secret of the Ooze playing on my second monitor, just like enjoying myself.
We had it playing in the store for a while.
I put it on. Yeah, I put it on that Friday and then it left. Yeah. And it just kept playing all day. I
kept getting distracted by it.
Yeah, it was a rad
captions
day.
Are great. But yeah, I want to love TMNT.
I don't.
And I want to play with TMNT. But, you know, plenty of space to pre-release on the weekend. I could not be sure.
Yeah, and this comes back to the draft process and stuff like that. And I think with the Commander deck is a different identity. But then I want to say, Rourke, my boy, you're going to come up again right now, and you're going to cap a little shade for this. But he lives in a high economic area. Like, he is a high economic boy. So he can easily, I would say, realistically, invest in a 120 Australian dollar structure deck, a fresh pack of sleeves, go down to his local card shop that's selling singles and go, I'm going to buy a bunch of promo versions and alt art versions of Turtles in Time and Trouble in Pairs, and, you know, go and get these hugely invaluable cards, at least just because they are currently, at least in their current market value, they're quite high, you know, $60 cards Australian each. And just buy this incredibly powerful deck. And you're not going to get a TMNT Trouble in Pairs for less than $60 because the card's valuable.
Yeah, people don't want the stolen art.
Correct. But, you know, if you... Definitely not. But if you want those cards, it's going to cost you. And if you want that insular experience, it's going to cost you.
Yeah.
So now there are people who might want to get into Magic, and their first investment in Magic is a $150 purchase between sleeves AUD, between, like, you know, $90-ish American, between
deck sleeves
and a deck box.
Yeah.
And I'm being generous. It's probably more than that technically, but, you know, I'm being generous. You know, that kind of stuff goes a long way to push you straight back out. And you go, well, I'm not spending that again. Like, I do that once. I'm not going to do that again. I can't keep doing that. Nobody can keep doing that. Well, not nobody, but...
Is our luxury niche hobby too luxury?
Too luxurious? But, like, I don't think a luxurious hobby is that... I think it's okay to have a very luxurious hobby when you've got things like, you know, You do really well at an event, you get a metal card of your legend. I don't
Yeah.
think it's that. I think luxurious is a problem when you buy a $300 model and it's the Primarch of the Emperor's Children, and he's got like 4 different
And you
head
have
options,
one of in your army,
and you have
and-
one of in your army, and you can take years painting this guy
It's
up.
2/3 of
and-
the size of a knight.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, I think luxurious is okay when it's not. I think luxurious is okay when it's a luxury, but if you just pretend it's a luxury, it's not luxurious. You're just treating it like it is. In fact, and I think it's a big problem. In fact, it's the opposite of luxurious. It's TMNT.
It's tacky.
It's tacky. Because also, just something I want
Champagne comes from the
yeah.
Champagne region of France.
Yeah. And like,
Other than that, it's just sparkling
it's just,
magic.
Exactly. And like, you know, we got to wrap up. We've talked too long. But last point I want to make personally before we wrap up is just, and I'll let you like bookend this. But like TMNT, this is true about Avatar recently as well. They slap their shit on fucking everything. They're not a luxurious thing. You know, like I think Lord of the Rings is a little bit more kind of outside of like their own shows they come out with as like kind of, like every so often. I think realistically they are pretty like close to their chest. You don't see everything have Lord of the Rings. Like they have their own kind of games involved and stuff, and they do hand out their intellectual property because, you know, these mega IPs do. But it feels a little close to the chest. TMNT is just a slurry of sewage.
Right
Pun
now.
intended. Right now. And this
Yeah,
has kind
it
of been
is.
true for a while. Like, you know, you get like there's like, I wouldn't be surprised if they're in Fortnite. Are they in Fortnite? I'm sure they must be in Fortnite. They were in like Smite, the MOBA game. They were in
Isn't
Injustice
Avatar in
2.
Fortnite?
Avatar's in Fortnite. They're in Injustice. Avatar's in Smite. They're in Injustice 2. You know, they're like
Avatar has a fighting game coming
Avatar's
out.
a fighting game.
Yeah.
Well, I think
These
I
aren't
think when a
IPs
game-
that are expensive.
yes, but I think when you have a thing that comes out, it's different. When you
It's
have
still
a
licensed.
thing, it's
So
licensed.
this is-
a company
this is-
makes it, but no, hold on. This is not the same. I think it's when somebody licenses your thing to make a game about your thing, it's different. Because, like, you know, TMNT, Nickelodeon is not going to make a TMNT card game. But if a card game company wants to make a TMNT card game and they'll license it out, that's different to Magic licensing it out. TMNT just finds its way into random shit all the time. That's what I'm saying. It's a company that just loves to give it to anyone that'll do anything with it. They'll cross over into Batman. They'll cross over into things because they'll just give it to anyone who use it because they'll give them money.
Would you say not precious about it?
Not at all.
Yeah.
Well, look,
And I'm sure
there's-
it's cheap. I'm actually sure TMNT's fucking cheap.
Okay, so there is like licensing periods. There are periods of time as well where brands will seek out licensors, and given the amount of, including an Avatar fighting game coming out, like these are still things that get developed with a licensor who comes to the brand with a pitch for a thing. So I would not be surprised, given the amount of other, like there's an Avatar free-to-play mobile game now that's a city builder, you know, that does the whole energy and war thing, you know?
TMNT is in Raid Shadow Legends.
TMNT's
They're
in
in
Raid
Raid
Shadow
Shadow.
Legends.
I was like, there's
Yeah.
something else I know
Yeah,
they're in. They're in
Raid
Raid
Shadow
Shadow Legends.
Legends.
Yeah.
But like there's so much of this stuff is suddenly coming out, including right now with Magic the Gathering, that makes me believe at some point early last year, that there was a branding deal done with Paramount, who own Nickelodeon, or a branding deal done with Nickelodeon that got that focus on the fact that these two products are coming out. Is that related to the fact that both of these products haven't had film or TV haven't had major film or television franchises in a while, but most recently had buzz around it when it came to TMNT getting the new movie, with Avatar getting the new series announced in the last, I want to say 6 months? I think so. I think that this is a marketing endeavor by the brand in a way to get the money. When you look at universes beyond Lord of the Rings, it is quite clear, at least to me, I feel it is quite clear that Magic went to Tolkien Enterprises.
Yeah, but we're saying the same thing.
No. What I'm saying is, I reckon Magic went to Tolkien. I think Nickelodeon came to Magic.
I agree with you, but we're
Okay.
still saying the same thing. I'm not disagreeing with that statement. I'm saying, if Nickelodeon comes to Magic, it's going to be cheaper than if Magic goes to Tolkien.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if Nickelodeon asks Magic, they have the standing power. Magic the Gathering can say, what's up, Teddy?
Nickelodeon and Hasbro announced strategic partnership in 2018.
Yeah. So there you go. Strategic partners. So, look, obviously, my point being
That
is
would be toys, but yeah.
Yes, but
It's just,
well, it
I
bleeds
mean,
through.
it's ties.
Clearly,
yeah.
it bleeds through. But also, like, but Magic players aren't. A lot of them are fully grown adults. A lot of them are adults. It's not a kid's game. It's got kids in it. Kids play it, but it's not a kid's game. Most of these problems are coming from people who are fully grown adults who are living adult lives and have adult understandings of society and incomes and rah. You know, these people know when they're being marketed to. Nobody wants to be marketed to. It's kind of, I touched on this a while ago when I was talking to you personally, where I was talking about how, like, it's such a weird, like, when I was a kid, things felt more insular. Like, if Ratchet and Clank got a new game, I could just play Ratchet and Clank and enjoy it. But if I'm the kid who's playing Fortnite and Fallout comes out, well, there are now T51B power armor sets in Fortnite, and there's a Fortnite like ghoul. You can't avoid being marketed to. Every single thing I do is now Fortnite. I guess, but like I mean to say Fallout. If I'm on Facebook, I get an ad for the new show. If I'm on Instagram, I'm getting ads for the new show. But it's everything. If I'm on the bus, the side of the bus has an ad for the show.
Your Discord gets a unique frame advertised to you for Fallout.
It does. Yeah, it does. Like Nitro says, hey, get a new Fallout emoji and use that. Like every single element of my life is being Fallout is being shoved to me. And this is just a placeholder for any kind of thing that comes out that has massive like backing behind it. Like, and this is all like that. Magic players don't want to play Fortnite. And they'll make that statement where it's like Magic, sure, but Magic feels like Fortnite, and it's like, okay, that statement makes me believe you're saying that things that have IPs associated with it that aren't its own IP is bad, and it's like, and they'll go, no, not exactly, but for the sake of the argument, yeah, I guess if it means it'll make you agree with me, then yes. But in reality, no, it's because they know their game is not, the IPs are not investing in their game because it's a good idea or it helps the game or it helps the IP. It's just that marketing. It's just look at this thing again. Look at this thing again. You know what I mean? And if I'm going to Commander Night and the pack that I get is TMNT, I don't want to go because I don't want to be marketed to. If I go to pre-release, the pre-release is the thing I'm being marketed at. I don't want to go there. I don't want to be marketed to. I want to play Magic the Gathering. I don't want to be marketed Magic the Gathering. And maybe in the future, like in a year or so or whatever, when the hype beast is dead and people just have TMNT cards in their decks, no one will care anymore, particularly about TMNT in that respect, because I'm no longer being marketed about this thing that's hype right now. This person just likes TMNT and has those cards. You know, it's like lots of examples.
Total Power is finally viable.
Total Power is finally viable, I guess. But like, you know, my point being is like, you know, maybe that person just likes TMNT and they have a TMNT deck, whatever. But I don't feel like, maybe I do, maybe I don't. I don't speak about this, but I don't feel like I'm being marketed to in that situation. But currently, I definitely do feel like I'm being marketed to. Yeah. Who wants to be marketed to? Nobody. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants to be marketed to.
So subscribe to the channel. Click the link down below. Get the bell and get notified every time a new video goes live here on the channel.
But that's okay because we're marketing the show.
But we're marketing the show.
If Magic the Gathering has a sign that says play Lorwyn, I'm like, that's not bad. I like to be marketed Magic to me when I'm playing Magic. That's Magic. I just want to be marketed not Magic. Anyway. So go over to Tolarian Community College and subscribe and like it. Go check out the command zone and like and subscribe there. You know what I mean?
So to bookend, what's the effect on all this? Obviously, we talked about like what are the major effects. You know, stores getting left holding the bag means that they're going to close, all that kind of stuff. But let's talk about what Vault has done. First effect, obviously, we put the pre-release kits on clearance. They're near cost price for us, which is wild,
spooky,
painful.
So I want them gone so that we have, you know, cash and room for Strixhaven.
Is this marketing?
Which we're not going to get enough for.
Yeah.
Like based on how Lorwyn's gone and how Edge is gone, you know, good luck.
And then the next set, Marvel Heroes, you talked about, we've cut how much we're buying.
Yes.
And that's
like
not good
because... we just put in our numbers for Marvel, almost said Marvel Champions, for Marvel Superheroes.
Marvel Rivals.
And yeah, absolutely, we cut our numbers.
Yeah.
I was just like, and then Universes Beyond is too risky of a product now.
Yeah. And then if you're the kind of person who's like, you know, you and your friends are all really into Marvel and you're like, we really want to go to the store and buy some Marvel. Well, we maybe actually just sold out. Not in a way that is like genuinely hype for the game and people want to buy the packs, but just because we bought so small amount because we're worried about it that we just can't keep it on our shelves necessarily because we don't have enough product, because we'll buy enough for our events and such. And then you're the kind of person who's like, I love Marvel. I want to go to their draft night because they're drafting Marvel, and it doesn't fire because all the players who normally come to our draft don't want to come. So then it doesn't fire. So you travel away into the city to play a draft, and at no cost of at cost yourself, but at no fault of your own, at no fault of Vault Games necessarily, at no fault of the community, it doesn't fire, and you have to go home. And you could buy a couple of boosters, I guess. You know what I mean?
Sorry.
So there's lots of these, like, it just feels so, it's not so much
But hey,
slippery.
Reality Fracture's coming out in October.
Yeah, the slope is not as much slippery as it
September.
is cascading. And then
But that's after The Hobbit in August. And then we got
Lord
Star
of the
Trek.
Rings too.
We got Star Trek coming in November, which also, from indications in the MTG Weekly articles, kind of says, the weekly MTG articles, kind of indicates that Hobbit and Star Trek are going to be small sets. And you know what that means?
I have heard, I know, but you might be right, but I have heard on the line that Star Trek is a full-size set. I've heard the whispers that Star Trek is full-size. Now, I can't give sources for that here, but like, I have whispers.
I hope so, because if
I
it's,
have whispers that it's a full-size set. Now, as
if
far as
it's
Hobbit is
not-
concerned, I'm pretty convinced it's small. Pun intended. But for Star Trek, I have heard whispers that
well,
it's a
they're
larger
gonna,
set.
no, they
But
can stretch
again,
it out like the Peter Jackson films.
yeah. But or James Cameron's Avatar. But no, I think you come back to me when it releases and it's 185 cards and say, "Hey, Trent got the whispers," so I could be totally wrong. But I've heard whispers that's a larger set, which is ironic because it's Star Trek and it's a larger set.
And the thing is too that like the way small sets have been going for UB, I'm sorry, Piper, one of the managers here, who absolutely loves Star Trek, but if it's going to be a small set, probably not going to stock a lot of it at all.
We'll just tell her to get the pre-orders in early. Like, also, can I say? I don't know, we're keeping going, but like Star Trek it's got to flop because I don't love Star Trek. I hate Star Trek actually, but like I like Next Gen. My point being though is that Star Trek is the epitome of doesn't fit the magic aesthetic, but also if you don't know Star Trek, they are just boring looking Power Rangers, all of them. They are literally just a guy wearing a full colored suit that is standing like this, or like at a screen, or with a blaster. They're the three poses they do.
You want to know something really interesting about Star Trek? It is also owned by Paramount.
Makes sense. See what I mean? Makes sense. What'd you call them? Something partners?
Strategic
partners.
Strategic partners.
So yeah, look, I think that's got to flop. There's no way.
Yeah.
Because if you don't you have to love Star Trek. And if you don't love Star Trek, you gotta love Star Trek, you gotta love magic because you've gone through all of the other wading through the shit. So like you gotta love magic and you gotta love Star Trek. That's gotta be small. That's gotta be small. That's like Doctor Who Commander Deck small. That's gotta be small. Slice. Oh my god. And if you don't like Star Trek, you're gonna fucking hate this set. It's gonna be like, well, which one's Captain Planet, and which one's Captain Jupiter, and which one's that's not real Star Trek names. I watch Star Trek. My point being is
are they gonna have two different Picards, or are they gonna be Picard and Janeway? Okay,
thank God we know names here. But like, it's like, is this woman wearing blue suit, or woman wearing purple suit, or man wearing blue suit, or man with elf ears wearing blue suit, or man wearing orange suit, or women don't wear orange suits in Star Trek, right? I don't really know. It's an old show. Something like that. They don't do
Orange
that.
and purple?
It's red, yellow, blue, brother.
Red and blue make purple, so grow up. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I'm the idiot.
I think I'm thinking of the Wiggles. Wake up, Jean-Luc Picard.
Okay, so Secret Lair Wiggles, please.
God, I'd buy that.
Yeah,
I'd buy that for $1.
Yeah.
Anyway, let us know in the comments, by the way, like how your store handled TMNT. How was the pre-release for your store? Was it all doom and gloom, or were there like sparkling gemstones amongst the shit?
And yeah, if you are really into TMNT, like if that's like genuinely you have a very like adverse opinion to what we're saying here about TMNT, because again, we don't want to imply that we just hate it. Tell us all about it, because I really want to see some positivity around the set as well. So not like vapid
I want to know why
positivity.
you
I'm not
enjoy
into,
it. You know,
I'm not into vapid positivity or toxic positivity, but I do want to hear about those who genuinely do love this stuff. And if you have any experiences, like a friend got into it and they're having the time of their life, or you managed to get your girlfriend involved or something, or you got your boyfriend involved or something, you know what I mean, or your them friend involved with this, you know what I mean, like that's. I feel like those are the kind of stories I want to see and read, because those are stories that will hopefully change my opinion on what it's looking like, because it's not good.
Yeah. And don't forget to like the video, thumbs it up, subscribe to us here on Spotify as well, and you get notified every time a new video goes live here on the channel.
Please.
Also, over on the Vault Games Oz channel as well.
So important.
We actually been doing we have another channel, Vault Games Oz. That's where we put all our like
Are you
fun
stealing strap
shenanigans.
rats?
I'm stealing strap rats, brother.
TMNT moment. He's marketing something else in the middle
Marketing
of this.
guy. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
Go check out Strap Rats. We have a lot of fun playing strategy games.
It actually was really well. We played Game of Thrones, the board game. It was so good.
Trent didn't know how to play.
It was Oh, that is just one of the games of all time. It's really good content though. We had a great amount of laughs. There's some great little thumbnails and stuff, and we just have some good moments. There's some very clippable moments, which you should start clipping, by the way, I think. But yeah, it's really good.
So go and check it out. Link will be down in the description below. Thanks, Teddy, for behind the scenes work.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Still love Ninja Turtles though.
Villains in a half shell. We should call it that. That should be called the episode.
Villains in a half shell.
Villains in a half shell. Come
Okay.
on, that kind of.
It's pretty good.
It's kind of slapitude.
Is it just Hasbro? Anyway,
Bye,
bye everyone.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Goodbye. We have to go. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Bye. Bye. Hey, bye-bye. Bye.